Hi, I'm Erin from the Witch of Saturn here with my Astro bestie Maggie from Made by Mag's Astro. It is
Hi.
Tuesday, November 18th already. Can you believe that? It's
Yeah,
wild.
no, that's why I'm laughing because
Yes,
it's almost December.
it's crazy.
How?
I don't
How did that happen?
know. But here we are, and we've got a big week astrologically. So I'm going to go ahead and get the chart pulled up. Let's see, here we are today on Tuesday. And today is a big-ish deal because we've got Mercury retrograding back from Sagittarius into Scorpio. That
Hmm.
happens tonight Eastern Time, 10:20 p.m. So that'll mark a significant kind of shift in the Mercury retrograde story.
Yeah, for sure. And when it does that, it will oppose Uranus and trine Neptune. So overnight into tomorrow morning, expect some yeah, just like a huge shift in the energy, right?
Yeah, and I feel like it's just going to be kind of draining, especially with the moving towards the new moon where the moon's in this balsamic phase where just
Hmm.
naturally, like we're all kind of called to take more rest and downtime and do less. I think that this would be a really good opportunity to work with that energy and not be like overexerting ourselves mentally.
Yeah, but then the problem with that is then we get in our heads about stuff, right? Because it is, yeah, let's slow down, let's be, hibernation mode, but then we just sit there and think, and that's like the Mercury retrograde issue. It's coming back to Scorpio because we didn't do something in Scorpio, or we missed some sort of information there, or we like overlooked something that we were supposed to dig deeper into. So that shift back into Scorpio, sitting opposite Uranus, now that it's back in Taurus, it feels like we missed, maybe not missed it, but because Uranus is at 29 degrees and Neptune is at 29 degrees, and then the new moon's at, I believe, like 28 degrees, almost on that 29-degree, it seems like there's something that we glossed over that should be a conclusion or an ending or something to find closure in, especially after Uranus shifted into Gemini to begin something new. We must have to stop or end something in Taurus, or like have just that moment of like, I'm done with that part of this, whatever that story has been for you, and find closure there so that we can move on from it. Something like that, right? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think there is some kind of closure that's happening with everything at those late degrees. And it does seem that it's really tied in and timed with, we have the new moon hits around 1:47 a.m. on Thursday, and then at 4:23 a.m. is the Cazimi, where
Mm-hmm.
Mercury goes into the heart of the sun, and it's kind of like this moment of insight and illumination or clarity that happens in the midst of the retrograde. And so, like the combination of those two things with the new moon, new beginning, and like this flash of insight, I think could be definitely pointing towards whatever it is that we're getting closure with being something that we have some insight about, and then the opportunity to start a new cycle, having, looked back and reflected on
Mm-hmm.
the journey so far.
Yeah, having that moment of clarity during a new moon is so, like, I can't remember the last time that happened, or if it's happened at all. That's a big deal to have a Mercury Cazimi on a new moon, and that's essentially Mercury getting all the energy from the sun, and it's like, whoa, I realized something, or I have an epiphany of something, or I have like an aha moment around something that I didn't see for some reason before. Um, so yeah, hopefully it's like sort of this conclusion before the new cycle, just like you said, that we can finally like just let it go. Hopefully, in Scorpio, just shed that, purge it, get rid of it. It's done. It's over.
And I do like that the Kazemi comes like shortly after the new moon because then technically the moon's already waxing, which is like, you could then take that
Yeah.
energy to grow that idea, right? The only thing I kind of wish it wasn't happening in the middle of the night. Like it seems like an energy that I'd like to be able to take advantage of, and there's absolutely no way I'm willingly getting up at 4:23. It's just
Yeah, you could get up at like 4 a.m. and just,
no.
sit there in silence. But yeah, good point about that, because the moon will be in that trine to Neptune in opposition to Uranus during the Cazimi. So it's the same sort of energy as what Mercury's going to do tomorrow. The moon's going to do it, and then we can think about how that's going to happen, and then when the moon does it, we feel it happening.
Yeah, I'm just going back to like
Put
show the
it
chart there.
on.
Yeah. Here we
Yeah.
go. We have yeah, then Mercury is right there, right in it. Look at that. Like it's a little
Mm-hmm.
more striking, I think, when you see it on the chart, that they're really all in this conjunction together, the luminaries and Mercury retrograde. And then we also have let's see. I mean, it's Venus isn't part of that conjunction, but it is there co-present in the same sign,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is nice, even though Venus isn't in its favorite position in Scorpio. It's in detriment there, but still, it seems like it's
Well,
very
and Venus will come into the story after, right?
yeah,
Mercury will come meet with Venus. So it's like Mercury is taking that information that he gains from the new moon straight to Venus. And he's like, here you go, Venus.
yeah.
Listen to this so that when you get into Sag, like I just did, you don't make the mistake I made or something, stuff like that.
And we see because that's going to happen on Monday that Mercury is going to conjunct Venus. And like the thing is that even though Venus is in detriment, it's better than not having it there, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
even though it can't do all that much, it's still better than nothing. So
Yeah.
we have there's Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
So yeah, Mercury and Venus. Right now we're under this grand water
Cross
trine.
right over.
Yeah, the sun came in there and made this grand water trine very prevalent. So then now Mercury's going to go and keep it going with this entrance into Scorpio. And then those few days after, Venus comes in and keeps it going. So it's just like this crazy emotional overcoming or understanding of like things that we probably haven't, because Mercury takes us back in time, right? Can be the past. Venus could be past relationships. Venus could be past values or like how we deal with money or anything that's like comforting or something like that. The way we show love and affection, it's like all this, because Saturn's also in retrograde, Jupiter's also in retrograde, and they are what are is like happening to make that trine very evident. It's sort of like a lot of it's probably going to be like a time warp. Like stuff comes up from the past, I have to deal with it, I have to find some closure, and then like that's emotional, right? That's hard to deal with, but like I know I have to do it to move forward. And that's sort of like what the seeding of this new moon is like. I'm shedding that old stuff so that I can move forward, make space for something new.
Also, it's interesting in just the mundane astrology of it, like all of the stuff that's coming up with the Epstein files right now in
Yeah.
the US. And
stuff
like,
from the past that people probably thought no one would ever see or hear.
right.
It's all coming out, yeah.
And then Venus, like, as part of that, with like, the women advocating for women and really fighting for the patriarchy to like, bring to light the who is responsible for abusing and victimizing these women. Like, it's just, you could see
Yeah,
how,
the truth is
yeah.
coming out, and it's so interesting. um that, yeah, that it's happening. So hopefully you could kind of like, not, it's obviously not as intense in our personal lives, hopefully, hopefully, uh, but hopefully you can see how that's going, or if there is something from the past coming back up to finally be dealt with.
I don't know. Honestly, for me, I have a hard time in Mercury retrograde to like make sense of things. I feel like there's going to be an opportunity to kind of look back at this time period and make more sense of it. But just, I
Hmm.
can tell that my brain is not at like optimal functionality where I'm not as quick, right?
Oh, well, yeah, like, so whenever Mercury is really close to the sun like this, it just,
Stupid.
brain, the brain doesn't work at all. It's just like
Oh,
burnout. Yeah. Uh, I don't know how to function. I don't know what to do right now, but like, all I know is that I gotta keep doing it for whatever reason.
and you know what else is interesting about this week is that that Mercury retrograde is going to conjunct Black Moon Lilith, right? On the 21st. Let me go back.
Okay, let me take that back.
On the 21st, where Mercury, well, I guess this in this chart, it's at 0 degrees of Sag. And I guess because Black Moon Lilith will move depending on which, calculation you're using. But
Yeah.
I have in my notes that it conjuncts Black Moon Lilith on the 21st. I'll have to look into that because I'm not sure where I got that. Um, but I do wonder the reason I'm bringing that up is because that does seem like it would be an interesting time for something to like be revealed about the Epstein thing, right?
Yeah,
Black
for
Moon Lilith
sure.
being like part of that mix. We'll have to see. That's a little
Yeah,
sidetrack.
Black Moon Lilith always makes me think of like the power of women and how, like, actually speaking your truth is extremely powerful. So yeah, that mixture of Mercury and Venus and all this stuff that's going on, I would not be surprised if more stuff surfaces, if there's like a big upheaval about it because of the Uranus stuff. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Should be interesting.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. So then what else do we have going on here? Friday's a big day with the sun is going to, well, the
yeah.
moon, first of all, here, we got to look at this chart. Okay, we are on Friday because the moon's going to conjunct Mars, right? So
Hmm.
immediately I'm thinking like that's going to be an emotional day where everybody's going to be feeling a little hot, right? A little testy, a little easy to be pissed off. And then the sun is in opposition to Uranus. Um,
Yes.
which is like kind of like really shakes things up, right? Not the most stable of energies, perhaps. And then the sun also is going to then trine Neptune
Neptune. So
here.
it's gonna do exactly what Mercury just
Just
did.
did. And
And
then,
it's, if you, sorry, if you look at the sun as like the leader of the people or like the power source, if information comes out during the Kazemi new moon about things from the past that are trying to be hidden and covered up, and then the sun goes up against Uranus and Neptune, right? So it's like, yeah, there you go. The leader of the country is gonna be shaken up big time.
yeah, and like also that the sun illuminates, right? So if there
Yeah.
are those like hidden truths, like bringing those things to light.
Yeah, and then that moon with Mars is like, oh, this is this is a lie.
Yeah. And then the sun goes right into Sag. So
Yes.
that's a big day, especially like the sun is my time lord of the year. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's going to be like a wild ride. Um,
But Sag is fun. You know, at least Sag is fun. It's almost like all this stuff gets happens, and then as soon as the sun enters Sag, it's like, but it's fine.
it's Christmas.
Yeah, we're gonna
Santa's
cover it up
coming.
with something that's like more enjoyable, and we just won't focus on that anymore.
La 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 la.
Yeah.
So, and then when the sun goes into Sag, it makes this sextile to Pluto.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
And what was the other sextile you wanted to talk about? The
Oh,
Neptune.
Uranus and Neptune are coming back into an exact sextile. So, this is something that's been going on over the course of the year. I believe they did in the spring make the exact sextile, and then it kind of like wavered a bit. But now that they're both back at that 29-degree point, it's interesting that they come back together at 29, 29,
And
29
I mean, this is the last time. This is the last time that they're going to make that sextile in these signs
in these signs. Yeah.
for our life.
So again, that's the day of the new moon. That's on the 20th. So it's just so interesting that it seems like, because Uranus and Neptune are bigger generational planets. They move very slowly. They are changing signs. We just had that huge shift over the summer, but next year they will be in Gemini and Aries for good. So this like sextile, again, a huge conclusion to whatever Neptune's been doing for 14 years in Pisces and whatever Uranus has been doing for 8 years in Taurus. I feel like it's a really big, yeah, there's lots going on here.
It feels very like one door closes, another door opens,
Yeah.
like things wrapping up and new cycle, like prepping for something new.
Yeah. And like that shift that we had into Aries and Gemini, it's just like, look at how much has changed, like with AI and with technology. And it's like we're on the verge of this huge change in the way we live our lives. Like, this is like the last taste of probably like Uranus and Taurus always makes me think of like the paper money is gone, or like paper in general. It's like all being taken over by technology, right? Taurus is just like that very natural stuff, and it's like gonna be gone. It's
Well,
weird to think about.
and even just like the Saturn Neptune conjunction that's has been moving closer
Mm-hmm.
together and then a little further apart. But that's like very much the inability to tell the difference between what's real and what's not. And
Yeah.
like you throw Uranus in there too with them, and it's just like this technological shakeup, like just very AI.
Yeah, a good example of that is like, you get the newspaper. You get the newspaper every day and it has the news in it, and you would just like believe the news, right? But now we get it on our phone, and is that something we believe? Because it's like all over the internet, and like, is that the truth? Like, you could trust the local newspaper, but
You
you
can't even
can't
trust what you
trust,
see anymore.
yeah, you can't trust what you see anymore. So it's just so like, this is the last little taste of like, if you're a millennial like we are, like that kind of stuff that we used to have, like our kids won't even, they'll be like, what's a newspaper?
Oh my
you
gosh,
know
I can't.
I know, right? So yeah, it's like, savor this time, because like a huge shift is definitely coming in 2026. So yeah, let's bring it back down.
All right, so on that note, have a good week, everyone. No.
Yeah, yeah.
Good luck dealing with your existential dread. Let's all you're not alone.
Yeah, no, like everybody feels it coming. Like we all know it's gonna happen. We just aren't quite ready for it yet. And this is probably the time frame where we're like, oh,
Yeah, it's getting real.
that's getting real. Um
So, what else? Anything else we have to kind of like highlight? Let's go quickly do like an overview of the week in like less astrological terms, just
all right.
energy of major shift today with the Mercury retrograde story, and then goes right into kind of an energy of like where you might really be in your head. You want to take some downtime to do less, but also give your mind something to focus on. Don't spiral and go down like rabbit holes in your own mind. Pull yourself back to center. It'd be a good time to like binge a show where you don't have to think, like zone out a little,
Mm,
right?
yeah, yeah, something like that. And if you want to like do research, as long as you're not getting too caught up in like chaotic stuff,
Yeah,
it's a good
just like
time for research.
finish some projects around your house. Take it
Hmm.
easy, but get some things done that you had started a while ago, something like that. Then be aware of what's coming in or happening on Thursday with the new moon and the Kazemi. Notice any dreams or anything that happens while you're asleep or any insights that you're getting when you wake up. Things like that would be good to take note of because they might be important as we kind of move forward. There's I don't know, I feel like Friday, what do you think with all that sun stuff happening? How do you think people are going to be feeling?
Um, because the sun is sort of like our identity or our self identity or like our connection to our physical reality or like outer consciousness. We might just kind of after the Mercury Kazemi, where we have that moment of clarity, we just might sort of understand ourselves on a different level, or like where we're going, what we're doing, what our purpose here or direction is, on a deeper level before we move into Sagittarius, and then we like start seeking stuff or feel in a different way about what our outer reality is about.
Yeah, and I think that day is going to also be like really, temper your emotions because there still is that propensity for Mercury so close to the sun to not be thinking clearly. Opposite Uranus, like dysregulated nervous system, and Moon conjunct Mars, like pissed off about it.
Yeah, it might be sort of like that, like what we were saying, like existential crisis going on.
Just breathe through it on
I
Friday.
don't know who I am anymore, but like don't go there. Just be like, okay, I'm still me. I'm still doing the same thing. I like just carry on with life. Do the Sag thing and be like, keep, or what's that saying? Keep calm and carry on.
There we go. I like
Yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah.
And then how about the weekend? What's some good
Um,
advice to take through the weekend?
the weekend there, we have Mercury reactivating Saturn and Jupiter in the grand water trine, and then we have that Sun sextile to Pluto. So it almost is like it's okay to cry and shed that old skin and get rid of stuff and purge out. Sun's new beginning. That Pluto stuff can be really empowering. So it's like, okay, I'm taking control back. No longer am I in an existential crisis. Here we go. Let's get stuff done. You know?
Get some shit done this weekend.
Yeah, get stuff done. And then on Monday, Mercury meets with Venus, and that's actually probably nice. Like we can talk to people and clear things up if we need to, like friendships, relationships. Maybe don't talk to your exes.
Be a good
So,
time to do some decorating.
there
Decorate
you
your house.
go.
Start to get ready for the holidays.
Don't, is it your Thanksgiving this weekend?
It's next Thursday.
Oh, okay. So maybe yeah, start planning that and like don't
Yeah,
hit
you know what? Bake some cookies. There we go.
yeah, do something to take your mind off. If you are having a hard time in a relationship right now and that has been something about your Mercury retrograde story, don't make it worse, right? Like just take space, take time to yourself. Self-care, self-love, that sort of thing. And yeah, love your home. Like Erin said, bake some cookies, get ready for your guys' holiday celebrations, that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, harmonize with the family, you know?
Yeah, because then Venus is going to enter that grand water trine. So it's like it's crazy because it's bringing up all sorts of emotions from all the personal planets, and we're just kind of like being made to feel, and that's okay. It's something that we have to do as human beings. And that's not a weakness. Like being sensitive and being compassionate and having to think about empathy and care and all that kind of stuff, it's something that it's probably a good thing to go through to sort the importance of this and me and that and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, and it aligns perfectly like with this week of Thanksgiving in the US coming up because it's like practice gratitude, reflect back on all like the
Mm-hmm.
good things that you do have because there is a lot of shit going on in the world and it's really easy to spiral into that. But like pull it back and just kind of like bring it back to your own self, some self-care and a really dedicated gratitude practice would be.
Yeah, that is so important. And like my biggest thing about Jupiter trine Saturn has been like, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. But then on the other hand, I have too much stuff and I'm getting overwhelmed with all this stuff. And it's like, how do you find a good middle ground for that? Because been a lot of like going back and forth over this. And as all the personal planets come in and activate it, it's almost like, what do I have in Mercury? What don't I have in Mercury? What do I have in Venus? What don't I have in Venus? So it's kind of like we're kind of figuring it all out, calculating, like putting it in the columns, and then like it's like a pro or con list. Like, okay, so I do have all this stuff, and it's nice to reflect on that and be like, you know what? That's good enough. That's good enough for me.
That's good. All right, so we can, I think, wrap it up for this week on that note. I think it's a good
Hmm.
place to stop. And then we'll see you back here next week, right? Next week's not quite as intense. And we've got
Yeah.
starting to move direct. So
Yeah.
this I
Mercury
feel
comes
like
out of retrograde. Saturn comes out of
Saturn.
retrograde. That's, yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of like, let's get through this week. This is going to be a little bit of like the peak intensity and get some insight from that Kazemi and then we'll prepare to start moving forward again. Will be nice.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
All right, and then you can find Maggie on Facebook on Made by Mags Astro. You can find me here on YouTube at The Witch of Saturn, also on Instagram, and you can always visit my website, which is erinlento.com. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.